So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Dharma Talk portion of our Sunday Dharma program. This morning, giving our introductory talk is Miss Eva. Eva grew up in Poland, but has spent most of her adult life living in Boston before eventually moving here to Rhode Island. She works as a user experience consultant, helping make technologies easier for people to use. In her free time, she enjoys gardening, travel, photography, and writing, and has taken 5 precepts here in the Quantum School of Zen with us. Eva, how long have you been coming here for? Like at least a year or two now, right?
About a year.
And she's a year-long veteran of the Providence Zen Center. And then answering questions today is someone who is much more than a year-long veteran of the Providence Zen Center. It's our very own Kwan Haeng Sunim JDPSN. Kwan Haeng Sunim met Zen Master Seung Sahn at the Cambridge Zen Center in 1986. He ordained as a novice monk in 1999 at Chik Chi Sa in South Korea, and in 2003 he received his Bhikku precepts at Tong Do Sa in South Korea. He has lived and practiced mainly at Hwae-sa and Musang-sa over there in South Korea, and where he had the jobs of being housemaster, media director, and head monk. Kwan Haeng Sunim received inka in December of 2020, and he currently teaches and practices here at the Providence Zen Center as one of our co-guiding teachers and new abbot. So thank you very much for your talks today.
Hi, everybody. So today I decided to talk a little bit about change, since I had to change the topic of my talk. I didn't, when I first signed up to do the intro Dharma talk, I didn't realize that we would also be welcoming the new abbot. So I was going to do this talk about meditation and, my experience with meditation. And I actually wrote this poem that I thought was really funny. I was going to read it. But then there was one line I just couldn't get right. And I just, changed it and changed it, and I couldn't get it right. And then a few days ago, I thought, I just have to write this last line. And then I thought, wait, actually, we're doing the, welcoming new abbot ceremony. I have to do something different. And then I had to change it. And then I realized, what am I going to talk about now? I have to. So as I was, preparing this new talk, I, if you've been around for a while, you probably heard this teaching, things are changing all the time, and you shouldn't get attached. So I own the Zen Master Seung Sahn's Compass of Zen on the Kindle, and you can search it, and I searched for, changing. And he actually used that phrase over 50 times. I started to kind of reflect on, that, and how we really don't, or at least I don't really think that big changes will happen in my life. And I'm a planner, so I'm always kind of thinking ahead, oh, well, my life is going, in this certain direction. But then when I think back through my life, it really didn't work out the way I expected. I grew up in, as Dave said, I grew up in Poland. And if someone, would have told me that, someday you're going to be sitting, in a Buddhist temple founded by a Korean Zen master in America, and you're going to be sitting next to a monk who's becoming the new abbot, giving a talk, I would say that is just impossible. That's just a crazy idea. That could never happen. I grew up in a country, under communism, where people didn't leave the country. People didn't really learn about other places. I don't think I even knew what Buddhism was when I was growing up. We didn't really learn about any kind of religions or philosophies. And, since I grew up, without religion, I never kind of got used to this idea of having ceremonies. So they make me a little bit nervous. I always feel like, there's this big ceremony and there's a right way to do things and wrong way to do things. And I'm always thinking, I'm just going to do something wrong because I don't know how it's going to work. And I remember when I first came in to practice, I sat accidentally in the back row where the teachers are supposed to sit, and someone kind of called me out, and I was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. When this talk was coming up, again, I was thinking there's going to be a ceremony, and now I don't know what's going to happen, and I feel even more nervous. But since I've been coming and hearing the teachings, it's not really a question anymore of should I do this? Should I say no? Should I do this? And I used to be this kind of person, I would want to do something new or something I was, maybe a little anxious about, and I would have this thinking, should I go, should I not go, should I go, should I not go, should I go, should I not go? And I knew if I just went, everything would be great, everything would be fine, but I just couldn't stop myself. So now I think more about, just do it, and things will work out fine. Speaking of just doing it, I think Haeng Sunim is one of those just do it people. If you've come here at least a couple times, you've met him and you've seen him, at practice, you've seen him giving interviews, you've seen him cooking, you've seen him, if you're volunteering with social media, he's always there, helping, just doing, whatever needs to be done, not really thinking about, is this the right thing, how should we do it? So he really is an inspiration to me in that way. I think, he is one of those people where you can see immediately that he has a very clear direction, very clear teaching, and, more importantly, he's just a very kind person who is always thinking about the other person and making sure that they are okay, rather than thinking, about anything else. Today we have this new Abbot ceremony, so you can say, okay, this is a big change. We don't know what's going to happen. But then also, it's kind of a small change because Kwan Haeng Sunim has already been here. We know him and, we love him, and everything will be okay. So I'll keep it short, and thank you, Kwan Haeng Sunim, for your practice and everything you do, and congratulations.
Thank you for your talk. I met Eva, and she's one of the talented people that I hope are going to hang around and help. So I'm being very kind to her. So we'll talk about that when that opening ceremony appears. Does anybody have any questions? So Eva mentioned changing, and Zen Master Seung Sahn talked about it about 50 times. And so that's a point. that everything is changing. And so that's one of the precepts is we vow to cut all our delusions. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. So that's that changing. And the funniest thing, the interesting thing about this changing, there's something below it that doesn't change. And this changing, that's the delusion that we should cut off our attachment to. And so that is actually, Zen Master Seung Sahn all the time. He's been around here for any length of time without mentioning this how things change. And how we practice to see beyond that change, to see what is there. So there's a poem out out here in the hall, and it's the coming empty-handed, going empty-handed. And the last line is so the clouds come and clouds go, and the clouds coming and appearing is your life. When clouds going, that's when your life passes. But behind that, there's one pure and clear thing. What is that one pure and clear thing? So that's and you know, I have a friend and and we're always fighting over politics, believe it or not. And so he's on one side, I'm on the other side. But I already told him right from the beginning that, okay, I'm happy to argue with you, but we're friends. We're not going to get real vicious about this. We're friends. So and I'm going to tease you a bit, and that's just what I do. And then he'll come and he'll tease me back. But that's and so one of the things that he sent me this person on YouTube and was talking about different things. But at one point he says, Buddhists don't believe in God. and so then I'm looking, I'm thinking at this one pure and clear thing. And also this question, what am I? And so I personally don't believe in a God as such, as somebody that's up there looking down on me and making sure I do good things. I don't, and I come from a Catholic family. However, to say that, but still, it was just an interesting way to say that Buddhists don't believe in God. But what we don't have is we don't have a Bible or a book or anything like that. And I understand that years ago, the American government tried to make the Tibetan Dalai Lama the head of all Buddhism. But that don't work. There's no pope. There's no pope in Rome. There's no one person or anything like that. And so I'm certainly not. I don't want to get critical about that, because people have needs, and they have needs to believe in something. I'm just saying that it isn't that I don't believe. I don't have a belief in something. I mean, I have this faith. And I have this faith in my true self. And so this true self, as Zen Master Seung Sahn would say, he would look at me and say, how big is yourself? How big is yourself? And so that's a kind of point. And I don't want to meander around that too much in case I say the wrong thing. Nonetheless, that's a kind of interesting thing. And then my friend, he's a Christian, and he believes in God and all that, as most people here in America do. But I just say that we all have our practice in this, and we all have this spiritual self. This spiritual self don't differ from one person to another. And if we decide to explore it using one technique, one form, then feel free to argue or put others down for their way of practicing, looking at the spiritual self. I don't think that's very fruitful. Anyways, so does anybody have any questions around that? Go ahead, Scott. I'm glad Scott came back. Him and Erica, they're always full of questions, and they keep things moving.
Yep. When I saw you up there, Kwan Haeng Sunim, I knew I had to ask one. So since you brought up politics, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but with such, stark differences, at least on the surface, between the candidates that we have, how, you mentioned like with your friend, how you kind of navigate through that, but from a higher level with all of the division that's happening right now, how do you kind of work with that within yourself and then bring that out into the world in a way that you're not trying to change people, but you're trying to be the change, if you will?
Well, there's a way that I do look at that. And that way is, is a simple fact that, for instance, in Buddhism, there's the three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. And then if you look at the two parties that we have in our country, but people know what I mean when I say the two parties, there's a commonality between both parties. And so that's what I point out. I mean, you look in one party, and one party says they want this, that, and the other, and one party says that they want to have this war going. This other party says they also want to have this war going. This one party says, I want to give this to the rich people. There's other people say, I want to give this to the rich people. So I'm sorry to say this is where me and my friend, we really meet a common ground. And that common ground is that these two parties, they're both wanting to do the same thing, basically, which is have power and have control. And there's no getting away from that. And so that's how that I work with that, because when I was young and I would wake up in the morning, I could hear my mother walking down the hall, shh, 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 and she'd go to the TV and turn on the news. So I've been I've been around the news and stuff from day one, and always from day one. And yeah, I look at that, but there's still this commonality that people have of this, the three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. And people in power, that's how they are. And that's what it happens. So then how do you work with that? I mean, like I said, I teased my friend, and then he turns out, well, what do you got to do? What do you think? I said, what about a third party? And so, yeah, so that's how I work with that. But Scott, it's very important to me that you don't get into knockdown, drag-out fights with the other side. But you got to see the other side and just point out that this is that what we're fighting it's a bird with its two wings. It's a bird with two. It can't fly with one wing. So what does it have? It has the Republicans and it has the Democrats. But if you point that out in a very productive way, and when I say productive way, just show where the money is going. That's follow the money, as they say that, follow the money. So, yeah, and be friendly about it. So, and somebody else I'm waiting for Erica to come up there. There she goes.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Kwan Haeng Sunim. So my question is about family dynamics. So that's a big one for me, where sometimes you care so much about certain things that are happening with your family, and they're doing certain things that maybe aren't in alignment with them or how they used to be, and they've maybe changed, and people are seeing it but they don't notice it, if that makes sense. And then where the family dynamic piece comes into play is you kind of see them a bit unbalanced, and you notice it at family dinners. You reach out to them and you want them to be a little bit kinder to themselves, a little bit more in alignment with who they are. So how to navigate different family dynamics while not rocking so much the boat with the past and the present of who they are, if that makes sense.
Okay, sure. Well, I would say that is that once again, Buddhism is about technique. And so you come here and we give you the technique of bowing, chanting, sitting, and together action, all so that you can become clear. And then when you're at home with your family, you could find a way that you can be helpful. That's simply, there's no way that I could tell you how to do this or that with your family. But there is a story that Zen Master Seung Sahn would tell, and I hope I don't chop it up too much. But basically, what happened was there was this guy that had the same kind of situation as I have with my friend. His father was on the right, and he was a young person. He was on the left, and his father was arguing all the time. And so he goes to Zen Master Seung Sahn and says, I'm always arguing with my father. He's a knucklehead. Yeah. And so Zen Master Seung says, told him to stop it. He said, just to put that down. I'll put that down. You go, when the next time you see your father, what does your father like? He said, he likes to have bourbon. He said, okay, go to the store, get a bottle of bourbon, and have a drink with your father. And believe it or not, the end result of all of that, he went and had a drink with his father, and then also listen to your father. Agree, don't disagree with him. Say yes about this, that, and the other. And the end result was that this person's father asked him, was interested in how this change had come over his son. And his son told him it was about this Buddhism. His father wound up going to the Buddhist temple to see what was going on. That's a kind of interesting point. I kind of went through that change, is that I didn't proselytize to my family. I never proselytized them, because actually I did that once with my friends. They said, shut up. A long time ago, but I learned my lesson back then. You don't proselytize. So I went with my family. They never asked me about it. Even, I became, I ordained and went to Korea and was practicing and all of that stuff. And then I sat with my father while he was, when he had cancer and up until he passed away. And then later, at some point, they sat down and asked me what I was doing and if I could teach them about what it was I was doing. And so I sat down and gave them an orientation, basically, and they were very engaged and enjoyed that. But that happened years and years later, and that's how it's done. You don't do it by proselytizing, for sure. So during that time, like for instance, I came home and from Korea, and I know that when I was living at home, I had my room. And then there was, the front room, living room, and other rooms and stuff like that. And so I always was in my room. And when I was out of my room, I was going from outside, or I was going to the fridge and back to my room. So that's kind of like how I was. But it was interesting when I went and took care of my father while he was passing, is that my mother and family, they moved to not family, all my other family had left. But my mother and father had one room, their bedroom, and they had the front room, and they had the kitchen. So I spent like 3 months until my father passed away on the couch in the living room, and it wasn't a problem. And it was very interesting. At one point, we had a blackout, and we just sat there, and we had candles going, and we're sitting and talking. That never would have happened when I was younger. So that's the way that is. So it's not, you're not going to find a magic bullet, but people see when you're trying to be helpful or when you're minding your business, because sometimes that's what you got to do, mind your business. Okay. Yeah?
Hi. On the subject of politics, I was wondering how one could deal with, like, the emotions that hearing about all of the problems in the world brings. in my case, my family pays attention a lot to the situation in Palestine, and I see that that can sometimes bring them to like depression, and I personally try to like balance how much I look at the news to like avoid those kinds of feelings, and sometimes that like makes me feel guilty for like not paying as much attention to it. And so I was curious how we can like balance being well informed and caring about the issues in the world, but also like being at peace with yourself.
Okay, go ahead, Debs. So that's one of the things people come here for is to, when they say, oh, I come here for meditation, if they come here for meditation, they come here so that they can have some of that peace that you talk of. And so when you're practicing here, and when you get into the practice, you begin to understand that the more you dwell on something, the more you think about something, the bigger it's going to get. Okay, so and even in theory, the things that are going on in Palestine can be overwhelming. But a way to get through that, a way to deal with that, and in your practice is not to dwell on it. So not to dwell on your guilt, not to dwell on what's going on over there, and so so when you practice, you just bring yourself back to this moment. All right, back to this moment. And so this is the reason why we call it practice, is because you're practicing to take that outside of the Dharma room, so that you get into the habit of coming back to this moment, or you have that ability when you need to come back to this moment and not follow what's going on in your noggin. And that's the point, not to have to follow what's going on in your noggin. And so there are ways and techniques. I mean, an easy technique is to just exercise so hard that you're huffing and puffing, and all your attention goes to the moment, to your body, to what you're doing, right? Okay, now that's actually a practice. If these athletes that were practicing like that, if they would work out really hard, and when they get off the field, if they could take that clear mind that they had on the field, because believe it or not, you can. It's a practice, but you can, and come back to the moment, they wouldn't have all the anger that some of them actually have. Okay? But even then, the ones that have all that anger, just imagine if they didn't have the practice of huffing and puffing, how big that anger would be. So then, in a sense, then how do I not attach to my emotions? Don't dwell on them. Don't dwell on them. And teach other people, young people in your life, how not to dwell on them. And so that's an important point. Okay. And, could you face a clock or something there so I could see? Yeah. Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, so any other questions? Esther? Esther used to ask them many questions. But actually that's the process, is that when people first come here, they have lots of questions. And then after being here for a while, all the questions kind of go away. Yeah, I know, I understand. I had the same thing. Yep. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets that. So there was a Zen master, and we have a Kongan, and the Kongan is called Songam Moon, calls to himself and answers himself. So Songam used to get up in the morning, and he would say to himself, you must keep clear every day, every time. Don't be deceived by anybody else. And he would answer, yes, sir. And so never be deceived by anybody, any day, any time. So he'd ask himself and answer himself. So that's two minds. And so, of course, I hacked up the koan as anyway. But he would ask himself and answer himself. So the question is, which mind is the true mind? Which is the true self? And so that's very interesting, because Zen Master Seung Sahn gave you this space, is that if your mind is clear, then everything is your master. Everything in front of you is your master. And so that's a kind of interesting point, because I kind of talked about this a little bit when I did my retreat, 100-day retreat in 2001. So when I did my retreat in 2001, what I did is I sat in front of a couch during those whole 100 days. And it was a beautiful couch, actually. I've never seen a couch like this. It was really heavy. I mean, it must have took a couple guys to bring it in, but it was beautiful and very comfortable. I tried to get it to the Zen Center, but they gave it to somebody else, because they wanted. So this is what I looked at for 100 days, and it was very, very interesting, because what had happened is that my mind is wandering here and there. Okay, it's just wandering all over the place, and then I'd bring it back to this couch. Okay, and then my mind would wander again here all over the place, and I'd bring it back to this couch. And so I found that actually everything in my mind, there's no reality to it, but this couch was real. And there were times when I couldn't, I couldn't control my mind. I couldn't bring myself back. So I had this technique. I would look at the couch, isn't that a beautiful couch? Look at it. And it's real funny. That would bring me right back to that couch, right back to that moment. And so it's, Zen Master Seung Sahn says that your true master is in front of you. That's true. And that's the hint he would give about what Sangha calls master. He would call to himself and answer himself. Which is the true master? And so I'll be doing a 2-day retreat in September, and I'll be doing Kongan interviews. If you want to come in and try to answer that'll be fine. And another interesting Kongan is that Sogam, the Buddha, held up a flower. He was on Vulture Peak and he held up a flower. Maya Kashyapa saw that flower and smiled. But how that happened, how that was set up, is that the Buddha gave many Dharma talks, and people were really interested. They came in from miles and miles around to hear a Dharma talk. So this time they came as usual for miles around to give a Dharma talk, and the Buddha just sat there. After 10 minutes, 15 minutes, people start grumbling and mumbling. Yeah. Why the Buddha's not talking? Yeah. And then at some point, maybe 20 minutes, he took a flower and he picked it up and just held it like that. Maya Kashyapa saw that flower and smiled. And so a very interesting point there is that the Buddha then said, I have the all-pervading Dharma, incomparable nirvana, exquisite teaching of formless form, not dependent on words, a special transmission outside the sutra. I give it to Maya Kashyapa. So that's a very interesting, and that's also a Kongan we have. And one of the questions is the Kongan is that actually the Buddha didn't give Maya Kashyapa anything. That's a very important point. So Zen Master Seung Sahn said that speech was a mistake. So if you was there, right, and you could, and you had a chance to redo that speech, how could, redo that situation, how could you acknowledge the fact that Maya Kashyapa's mind opened up? His mind opened, everybody else's head was someplace else, but Maya Kashyapa was right there, and boom, his mind opened up. And so, if you was there, how could you give credit to Maya Kashyapa for his mind opening up without telling him that you gave him something? How can you acknowledge what happened? But he didn't actually give him anything. Nobody gives anybody anything as far as practicing is concerned. Yeah. So, go ahead, Chris.
So I think a lot of the questions about politics sort of touch on this pervasive, like, negative public messaging. But something that also can make me a little uncomfortable sometimes is how much positive public messaging there can be. Like, for example, yesterday I was going to make some green tea, and I noticed on the back of the packet it said, you know, steep for 3 minutes and then enjoy. And what I noticed was, you know, they weren't selling me, you know, a little cheaply made bag with some bitter leaves in it for, you know, 10 cents a pop. What they were trying to sell me was a moment of peace in the middle of a busy day. And we are just constantly surrounded by messaging that is telling us to indulge in pleasures. So I'm just wondering what our relationship to that should be, and how to deal with that when it creeps into our practice.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's what I'm saying is that all what practicing is about is coming back to this moment. And when you do that, you strengthen your center and you believe in yourself. Believing in yourself and having a clear mind means that you don't believe in what the TV's telling you. You don't believe in what the Buddha's telling you. You don't believe in what whoever is telling you. Don't believe all of that. And it's not that you don't believe, but that you look at it clearly. You look at it clearly. So you see that. You see that clearly. And then you make a decision. Should I buy this overpriced tea or not?
It was just, you know, cheap and it was underpriced, and I'm thinking, like, it's telling me to care about it in this way. And I don't want to care about it in that way. I just want to have it, you know? I'm sick of messages being put in my head all the time.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, I would just say don't attach to those messages. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. We're all told throughout life what to do, how to do it, why to do it, But that's, you need to believe in yourself and make a decision. And that's what all this practice is about. So we don't have a philosophy, we don't have a doctrine. In a basic sense, it's not a religion. I like Zen Buddhism. I like the whole thing, how it works and stuff like that. But fundamentally, that's not it. Zen is not it. Zen is not it. It's just a finger that points to it. And that pointing to it means that it gives you a clear mind so you can see things as they are and make that decision on what to do. Okay, really. So so part of it isn't just, you know, see things as are and make things clear. There's the other part. That other part is what? Asking, what am I? Because when you sincerely ask yourself, what am I, you begin to see how this thing that we call I has no self-nature. So Eva was talking about this changing. That's the problem with I. When you slap I on it, I doesn't change. This I it tries to fix something as it is. It doesn't, it's not possible for anything to be fixed that way. So if you look at this changing I, and see what's behind it, actually what's behind it is quite beautiful. That thing that's beautiful behind it is that we're all connected. And that's an important point that we should see. And so that's why we sit and practice and become clear. So that we can, attain this point. And so that's the first, the great vow. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. But with sentient beings are numberless, I vow to save them all. Why do that? Why do that? You're gonna make more money doing it? Get more friends? What are you going to get when you do that? But if you have this, if you understand this point that we're all connected, then that means what? That means you can help your friends, you can help your family, you can help everybody around you, but you can also help to see the ocean the world, you know, the air. This world doesn't belong to human beings as such. It's not something that we own. That's the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard. You know, we're all, everything on this planet, all the sentient beings are on this planet together. We don't own it. But okay, if you had that attitude, then what do you get? You get what you got now. The mess that we got now. Simple as that. You know, if you can knock down a mountain so you can get a few diamonds out of it, and the hell with the environment, then there you go. How did I get on that? Is that your question? Does that answer you? Yeah, okay. Anyways.
I was in Boston the other day. I had to drive one of our residents to the airport, and I got stuck in traffic for about an hour, and I got very frustrated. And at some point, I remembered to meditate, right? So I just brought my attention down, and I was fine. It really works. But, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. It's really hard to remember, you know, to do that process, you know. So do you have any advice for that? Or, you know, don't waste time getting all frustrated. Just bring your energy down and do some work. Yeah.
Get frustrated so you could do that more. so you can remember more. But yeah, no, I understand that, because that often will happen to me. I'll get caught up in something, and then I'll look and I say, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You can just come back to the moment and let that go. So I had a lot of anger in my life, and we all know about anger, how that works. And so, yes, go ahead, knock yourself out, be angry, I don't care. See who suffers, is what I'll say to myself. And but you gotta you gotta remember. And sometimes, in order to remember, you gotta feel a little pain, and that'll do it. So you was in the car and you felt miserable, and you get more miserable, and finally you say, "Oh, I can do something." But what about the folks that can't? You know, you should. That's what we kind of want to connect with, and that's what we do here. That's our practice, to teach folks how that they can also not get caught up in their emotions and stuff when they're in a moment, you know? So you get into a road rage situation or something like that, it's important how you keep your mind, not some philosophy or some idea or some doctrine. That's not going to help when you're really upset and angry. But if you're upset and angry and you're in a road rage situation, you understand that this anger has no self-nature, meaning that it's as big as you make it and not any bigger. So why are you going to make it big like that? But if you have technique, like one else sitting in the car frustrated, he had a technique to let that go. So that's a kind of a point, and a point that we want to teach people also, so that they can do that. And we want to teach young people especially, so that they can do that. That's important. And I have 11:30.
Are we going straight to a ceremony, or are we doing like the ending announcements now?
I would say go ahead and do the ending announcements, and then we're going to have like a 10-minute break to set up the room. And, okay.
So thank you both for your wonderful talks today. Just a couple of announcements, and then we'll have a 10-minute break before coming back for our Abbot Installation Ceremony. First, we have retreats almost every single month here at the Providence Zen Center. Our next retreat coming up is going to be Saturday and Sunday, September 7th and 8th, with Kwan Haeng Sunim JDPSN. You can sit for one day or both days. I like to encourage people to sit both days if possible. And if you choose to do that, overnight accommodation will be provided for you here at the Providence Zen Center. So it's a great opportunity to really settle into your practice and have that kind of very intimate time with yourself. You can register for this online at providencezen.org. In addition to our other programming, first and foremost, our organic garden, the harvest is being collected, and so we have our little stand, which you saw probably coming in the road here. I encourage everyone to stop by and pick up some delicious organic vegetables from our farm master, So Young, who's done a marvelous job with it. So please stop by and get something tasty for yourself. And then, of course, our Dharma school is going to be picking up again on September 8th. So our Dharma school is for children ages 6 through 12. It's from 9:30 to 11:30 every other Sunday, starting September 8th in the upstairs Dharma room. And it's a great chance for the kids to be exposed to the Dharma while giving you a chance to come really sit and practice without having to keep an eye on them. For more information about that, you can speak to either Danielle or to Lisa, if you two could raise your hands for me. These two right here. And there is going to be a parent meeting for the Back to Dharma School on September 5th. So if you're a parent, come to that if you're interested. Okay. If you.
It's just a little orientation, what to expect. Some of the committees are hoping to extend some volunteering and fundraising. And then just
That's great. Is that information on the webpage? I don't see a Zoom link or anything here.
Yes, it's in the posting, and there should have been some social media, so I believe Eva has put some on the Providence Zen Center social media pages. There's a Zoom link.
Check us out on social media.
And the website.
And the webpage. Last but not least, practice is always free. Electricity and streaming is not. If you'd like to help support us, we do very gratefully accept donations. And donations make up 30 to 40% of our operating funds here at the Zen Center. So it's what allows us to keep these doors open and allow this practice and teaching to be accessible free of charge to everyone in here. So if you'd like to support us, you can donate online at providencezen.org. You can consider becoming a member of the school, in which monthly donations will come to help support us, and you get discounts on retreats, robes, and other goodies in our little Dharma shop that we have. And of course, you can volunteer your time as well. And you can speak to anyone in a brown costume, they can probably get you pointed with that. So,
There's a QR code out there now above the box.
for donations.
For donations, yeah.
QR code as well. So thank you all very much. We'll have a 10-minute break and see you all soon.
Is there a way to set up a room? Is there a way that you not change anything?
Something quick. You're in the text message. Okay.
I didn't even know the Providence Zen Center existed until you mentioned me. I used to drive down to Right, yeah. Well, because I mean, it makes me think of like, I mean, especially if it's for like symbols, signs for a certain, even if it's a short-term thing, and then, you know, it's something up there. So honestly, sometimes we do more stuff here, and we try to make our signs like really huge and like the same color, same consistency. So like, even something as simple as that, it's like, you know, like another sign, and getting closer to people and just follow the color, and then once they get to the color, they know exactly what
Arrow, on this way, you see that first sign, then when it's shut down, obviously, they take your
Yeah. Because I mean, that doesn't happen. Yeah. We can do that. Yeah, that's something simple, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of to do. And if, God forbid, something happens to it, but yeah. Oh yeah. No, well, definitely. I mean, we'll definitely go precautions to make sure it's yeah, exactly. But on,
just in case. They're good symbols.
Yep.
I might have two.
Okay. Yeah, and are they long signs or are they?
No,
they're
like sandwich.
They fold out. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Like open house?
Yes. I know exactly. Okay. And do you slip something inside of it? Is
So
that
there is a real estate sign in there always. Use that as a back.
Yeah.
And depending on the material, we would make a sign. People are gonna look
Yeah.
But that would be that.
Yeah, I actually have some material because for my job I saved. It's like
Well, it's kind of embarrassing.
it's a certain type of corrugated plastic, and so you could cut it, fit it the size of that, and then that was I didn't like it yet. It's now when it goes 7 bucks.
They can't get more.
So that's,
Right.
so that's,
Yes.
that's the thing, if you do put the signs out, like you don't want someone to just go and steal them, like, or they're gonna be put out, so it's like, are they gonna change?
I was gonna say it might be.
Well, the color.
Yeah, we'll put it out and see. Yeah.
We go over there about the same thing.
We could also check out the other side too, because I know that there is, it's a little bit further to get here from that side, but that would be like the two, easiest thing, like, packing this immediately to get something to
that could be one that's up, like eye level, possibly eye level.
Yeah, check it out.
I think that's number one.
Yep. Yeah, literally look at it kind of like a
Yeah.
just something, yeah. And then, like you said, we'll make a more distinctive plan for our next season. Yeah. All right. Yep.
It's kind of arrow to one side and the other,
We can sit down.
Yeah.
Are you sitting back there now? Yeah. Go, take wherever you want. That's fine. I'm not sure I want to sit at all.
So, our public speaking.
Yes.
Sumi walks up to me just before we come in to sit down. He said, "Would you mind saying a few words?"
For now? It's a big job. Do it.
I've suddenly forgotten my name.
Yeah. No, he's...
Gosh. That's how it happens. They say, look that way.
Yep.
What happened?
Huh?
What happened? I
You'll
missed the
find
story.
out.
Okay.
You'll find
He
out.
got tapped.
Wow. You got tapped. That
Tapped.
sounds like, what, you mean law enforcement?
No.
That's thinking. That's all right. I didn't know it was going to be so elaborate.
I've
You know,
been here through a lot of changes
lot
of
of
habits, and I've never seen this before.
Somebody looked at the Dharma mirror, so it's actually a ceremony.
Let's do that.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Abbot Installation Ceremony here at the Providence Zen Center. We'll begin with lighting of candles and incense, and then the opening bell. The opening speech will be given by Zen Master Tan Gong.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Good? Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah, almost a month ago, we had the 45th anniversary celebration here on a Sunday, July 28th. And I know a lot of you were here, and you remember some of the speeches about how this place came together. We bought this place from the Seventh-day Adventists, and at that time we mentioned that they're vegetarian and they used to grow their own food here in this place. And I mentioned that they're probably happy to know that we're vegetarians, and we also grow our food here. And if you haven't had any of those vegetables, especially the tomatoes are so good. So it's wonderful. You also heard about how this building was put together. I remember Zen Master Seung Sahn talking about having her daughter in her bag and coming, looking at all the stuff that's happening. During the other 45th anniversary celebration, or mini Woodstock, as I call it, there was people here that came that used to live in this place a long time ago and just came for the celebration. I met a person that told me, oh yeah, I saw when they built the monastery, I used to live here. It's like, wow. Yeah. It's amazing, yeah? All these things. And it's not that we take it for granted, but it's here. Yeah? All this place, all this property, the practice. I remember when I started practicing, I used to work in Hudson, Mass, and I would leave work a little early, about 4:30, to be here for the free dinner. Yeah? Being a single person and a vegetarian, we start to find stuff like that. And I had a bonus, but also the practice and the retreats and all that. Yeah. But you heard the talk this morning. You heard we were talking about changing. And that's it. That happens to everything. And started with our body, our health, our car, our phone. We have to do a little maintenance. We have to make sure that things run in a certain way. Yeah. Keep up with entropy. Yeah. It's not that different in this place. And in monastic places, the abbot or abbess, those are the people that are there to make sure that things are running. So today we have this inflection point where we have a new abbot. We have selected a new abbot, Kwan Haeng Sunim. Yeah. And he's going to take the role of making sure that this place is still here, and when you come, things work as you expect them. Yeah. You never pay attention to that, but things happen. Yeah. In 10 minutes, we just set up the room for the ceremony, just like that. It's amazing. Yeah. But also, this is the time to recognize the previous abbot and to be thankful for all the stuff that Dennis has done. I mean, this is not an easy job. A few weeks ago, some of you may remember, we had an issue with the main water line to the building. They're digging and stuff, and no sooner that was pseudo-completed than the water here in the monastery decided to break down. So that's life at the Providence Zen Center. And it's not going to be any different, but we're all here. Yeah? And it's not just about the abbot, but it's about the practice. It's about the place. It's about all of us. So today I have 3 things to ask of you. Yeah? 3 things. 1, keep practicing your daily practice, but come here and practice like you do on Sundays, on Wednesdays. Come for retreats. You can come for a day, come for a day. Jesus, sir, Kwan Haeng Sunim is leading a retreat. You can come for 1 day, 2 days, but come, because that's the main goal of this place to practice, to keep the teachings alive. Yeah, that's 1 thing. Number 2, if you have the desire, the skills, and the time, then you can volunteer. We have a wonderful volunteer program run by Danielle and other people here, and it has made a huge difference, So we run this place together, so can use the help. Yeah, can use the help. And the last thing I have to ask from you is to support Kwan Haeng Sunim now in this new role. As I said, it's not an easy job, but we're here to support you. We're here for you, all the sangha. Okay? So, thank you all, and congratulations.
Please rise. Oh God, I feel like I'm back going to Catholic Mass. We're going to recite the threefold refuge, which should be the small sheet that was handed out to you. Of the Buddhas who are present in their glory at this assembly. Homage to the Dharma, which is present in its glory at this assembly. Homage to all the sangha, who are present in their glory at this assembly. We're going to do Kwan Sian Boso chanting, which is page, I believe, 17 in the chant book, 24 in the chant book. Sa, Kwan Seum Bo 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 Sa, Myok Changjana Maruge Sabaha, Om Maruge Sabaha, Om Maruge Sabaha, Kwan Sangjana Mamaka Sabadara Sadaya Shibeyom, Om Mamaka Sabadara Sadaya Shibeyom, Om Mamaka Sabadara Sadaya Shibeyom, Bosa Sojan Gasandarani, Nam Samanda Botanam, Abarajyada Sasananam Danyata, Om Kakakai Kai Hom Hom Abara, Abara Bara Bara, Bara Bara, Jita Jita Jiri Jiri, Padu Padu Sanjiga, Shiri Sabaha, Nam Sambanda Botanam, Abarajyada Sasananam Danyata, Om Kakakai Kai Hom Hom Abara, Abara Bara Bara, Bara Bara, Jita Jita Jiri, Padu Padu Sanjiga, Shiri Sabaha, Nam Samanda Botanam, Abarajyada Sasananam Danyata, Om Kakakai Kai Hom Hom Abara, Abara Bara Bara, Bara Bara, Jita Jita Jiri Jiri, Padu Padu Sanjiga, Shiri Sabaha, Yong Jinanam Horo Horo Sayamoke Sabaha, Om Horo Horo Sayamoke Sabaha, Om Horo Horo Sayamoke Sabaha, Ho Yang Jinanam Samara Samara Mimara Jarama Jangara Barahum, Om Samara Samara Mimara Jangara 진침겸 가수지 대중수 가음진 범영야양 분강의 문영진소 Please be seated for 5 minutes of meditation. We will now have our Dharma speech from our incoming abbot.
Well, how did I get here? So this is, for me, a position, not so much of an authority, as a way to be able to help the Zen Center. A line given to me by Zen Master Tan Gong. But actually what it is that Zen Master Seung Sahn gave us this place, a place to practice. He also gave us a teaching, and he gave us teachers, okay? So come on, can we just kind of keep it going? So, I mean, he did all the hard work. I mean, he went and he got enlightenment, he made these places, he made teachers, and he made a form for us to use. And it's quite, it's simple to do. It is, yeah, it has its difficulties. It's simple to do. And so for me, then, it isn't something that I'm going to do, but all I am is I don't consider myself actually so much as an abbot as it is a facilitator. So I have all these people here, and they know, some of you know who you are, that are going to help, from the Zen Master Tan Gong as my guiding teacher, so to speak, as all of our guiding teacher, as an office help, and we're going to have a school going here. And of course, we've got to reach out to the media with the people in the sangha through the media. And we've got stalwarts like Brian who's here. Brian is so dependable. And so that helps. That helps the Zen Center. So I hope to have more of that to appear here. So I'm going to say my thought is that in the past it's always been, well, in the past what a monk does, or monks or sunims, nuns and monks, they build a temple. And they build a temple so that they could have the people come and practice at the temple, be it a church or whatever, what have you. Now, if you build a temple and you tell the people, oh, you got to come here so you can get enlightenment and help all beings, and we're going to show you all these hard techniques that you got to do, and then you come and do it, and nobody's going to show up. Why should they do that? People have 9 to 5 jobs. They're working hard, and they have a life and things like that. So why should they do that? And then that's when the teaching appears. So yeah, how can I help you in your day-to-day life? How can I help you keep a peaceful mind, or return to a peaceful mind in this confused world? And so yes, the temple here, sometimes we concentrate a little bit too much on the temple itself. I want to now focus on the sangha and see what we can do together. Bringing people and listening to advice. I don't know about you, but I don't know how to fix a roof. I don't know how to run a computer. I mean, in organizing, I'm not the #1 organizer, but I can say, yes, go ahead, do that. I can do that. I can give people the permission in the space to do that. That's what my job is, to give people space, to bring them in and give them space to do the work that I would like for them to do. So that we would like us to do. So I don't really have a whole lot to say outside of that. I think, I'm excited about what the future holds. And so one thing that hasn't happened since I come here at this Zen Center here, and this time around 2012, I haven't seen a group of talented people who are offering to help us come at one time in one group. You always had a little person here that could help, maybe doing this, and somebody else doing, but never this one group where you had so many different people being with different talents to help different parts of the Zen Center. I didn't see that before. So in that sense, I'm quite confident that we can do some stuff here, get some stuff done. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to your help in doing it together. Okay, thank you.
The sangha and the incoming abbot will now bow to each other 3 times. Tried to catch you before you got too seated. Do we have any congratulatory talks? There is a congratulatory talk by Danielle.
The order is
Buddha.
Buddha.
And then the teachers. The opposite way.
On the way out. Okay. So I did prepare something. I just want to say, start with expressing my heartfelt gratitude for being invited to speak today. Sunim, thank you so much for everything, the support, the love, the gratitude, the compassion. I could probably cry, so pardon me. It means so much to be part of this sangha. Thank you to Dennis. When I came here to the Providence Zen Center, I searched for chanting near me. I showed up at the door. You were here to invite me in. Thank you so much. It was also during COVID, hard COVID times, and it's been great. And Zen Master, it's been nice working with you and getting to know you. And the whole sangha. So anyway, I just wanted to say, you know, Sunim is far more than a teacher. He's a guiding light who believed in me when others didn't. His faith in me has been a profound source of strength and inspiration, helping me grow and evolve in ways I never imagined. Sunim exemplifies openness and support in every aspect of his being. He approaches each of us with a compassionate heart and an open mind, always ready to listen, understand, and guide. His dedication to our sangha is unwavering. He is deeply committed to our well-being and our shared journey, continually working with us to cultivate a sense of unity, togetherness, and progress. Alongside Sunim and our devoted sangha and so many volunteers, thank you all for coming forth. We are committed to spreading the Dharma and nurturing the deeper understanding and connection within our community. We are united in our mission to strengthen our sangha and to bring energy and vitality to our practice. With Sunim's compassionate leadership, we envision a bright and clear future, one that we are actively creating moment to moment. Kwan Haeng Sunim's dedication to us in our practice is a powerful example of true leadership and compassion, and I am incredibly grateful for his guidance, his belief in me, and his steadfast commitment to us all. Thank you, Sunim, for being here and for everything you do. May we continue to grow together. Thank you. So, here we go. This is my first time. All righty. Thank you.
We'll recite the 4 great vows on the back cover of the chant book. Sentient beings are numberless, and we vow to save them all. Delusions are endless, and we vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite, we vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable, we vow to attain. Closing of altar and incense.
And thank you for your support, and I hope that all of you continue on and make this place strong. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of this. Yeah.
Now it's known as Jiu-Jitsu.
And Korea. And Korea, it's the same as Jiu-Jitsu. It means act. Korea was act. Okay, thank you.
Welcome back.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. He asked me just before we came in.
Oh, yeah, he got me down to the 50.
The other part,
We can set it up for anything practice. So there's 4 cushions here, 5 o'clock.